It can be whatever you want it to be.
Just think about it right now. Everything's okay. No matter where you find yourself, no matter what kind of stuff is going on in your life, underneath it all, everything's actually all right. You're okay. You have more power than you might be giving yourself credit for. If you have something that's going on in your life right now that's challenging or painful, it's just a reminder to take a little bit better care of yourself. You're worth it.
Hey everybody, I thought I'd just jump in here and take a minute and explain to you the term ghost kingdom, because I don't know how many of you have heard of the term, or if you've heard of it, if you know about it as it relates to adoptees. So, ghost kingdom is it's a term used to describe a unique phenomenon experienced by many adoptees, particularly those who were adopted from a different cultural background or country. The term ghost kingdom refers to a sense of living in a world between cultures, feeling like a ghost in one's adoptive country and culture while feeling disconnected from their birth culture and country as well. Adoptees may experience a sense of loss, grief, and confusion as they navigate their identity and belonging within this ghost kingdom. The term helps to describe and validate the experiences of adoptees who may feel like they don't fully belong in either their adoptive or birth cultures, and it highlights the importance of acknowledging and supporting adoptees in their journey to understand and embrace their complex identities. Now, also, as this refers to me, as I mentioned in the video, many adoptees, especially those who have little or no information about their biological parent or parents, may create a kind of fantasy version of their absent parents in their minds. This is a natural human response to the longing for connection and understanding of one's own identity. In the absence of real information, adoptees may fill in the gaps with their own assumptions, hopes, or dreams about what their biological parents would have been like, their appearance, personality, life experiences, and more. This imagined version of the parents can serve as a way for adoptees to cope with feelings of loss, abandonment, and identity confusion. It's important to note that these imagined versions of the biological parents are not necessarily accurate or realistic, but they can still hold significant emotional weight for the adoptee as they navigate their place within the ghost kingdom and work to integrate their complex identities. And as I mentioned in the video, I definitely created a ghost kingdom for my father, and well, I thought he was such a great guy. Was he a great guy? I don't know. And I kind of conjured up the fact that he was this great guy in politics and snazzy dresser, blah, blah, blah. And I did the same thing for my sister. Even though I met her, we didn't know each other long enough to really get to know each other. And so in my mind, I thought of the sister that we would have been really close. We would have gone to different schools. Well, we would have gone to schools together. I went to different schools throughout my childhood, and it would have been nice to have someone to go that first day of school with me. And sharing a bedroom, sharing clothes, talking about boys. Uh, as we got older, growing up our kids together, doing things together. And I just thought of her as like a twin, somebody just like me. Would she have really been a twin? We'll never know. In the ghost kingdom, she was. So, back to the video.
Yes.
Ghost kingdom's like, yeah, he was this and he was that, and he did all these things. And, like in real life, it might have been like, oh, I don't want to speak to either one of them. I mean, you know. But guess what, too? My brother still hasn't spoken to me.
Yeah.
And so when my sister died, well, one brother I didn't bother to tell. That's the one that has the early onset Alzheimer's.
Mhm.
He's the one that his girlfriend told me not to talk to him. So
Yeah.
I didn't. And then I just put it, and then I posted it all over Facebook later, like just recently when we came back. I'm like, I can do what I want on my Facebook page.
Absolutely.
He doesn't come on my Facebook page, but she does. Thank you. And then my other brother, he came on my page too, and he put like a like or something. So he saw it, but he hasn't spoken to me. And then his daughter sent me a message or made a comment and said, "Wow, her birthday's the same birthday as dad's." Because remember I told you my
Yeah.
sister and
Yeah.
brother had the same birthday. Her birthday is the same birthday as dad's. I said, "Yeah, but he hasn't spoken or anything, and I haven't really spoken to him. But so I don't really know. Maybe he's never going to speak. It's kind of stupid to me.
It's all in how people process it.
I guess. But
Yeah. And thinking about the processing, when you said sometimes you try to just, it's like it's never, nothing ever really happened. That's that protective part, trying to protect you from the sadness. And so when you're in that space, kind of lean into it and try to almost like just kind of settle with it and have it understand that you're okay to process it. Like allow it to have its space to protect you, but then say like, I'm okay, I can do this. I can lean into the sadness and get through it.
I don't know what to do about my brother-in-law though, because
Mhm.
I don't really know how to stand. I really want to stay in touch. I really like him a lot.
Mhm.
I think we would have just been a great group.
Yeah.
But I don't know what I'm supposed to do now.
Ask him.
Because I used to talk about, I know, but what do I ask him? What am I supposed to do now? I don't want to
Say,
make it.
I want to stay connected to you. What can I do for you? How can we stay connected? What do you need?
Mm,
And
right now, I
tell him
really
you don't have to answer now.
yeah.
Like tell him, just take some time to think about like what our relationship looks like going forward. I'd love to have one. Just tell me what you need.
Yeah, because we were going to try to get him to come out here and visit.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But it was way early. You know what I mean? Like a couple
Yeah.
months. He's not thinking about it. So that's why I just thought we were going to try to do it maybe like next summer or whatever. But like I'm just like, let's just go somewhere, and then maybe the next year after that, if we're all still around, we
I would
can
ask him.
do something.
I would ask him because it could go either way. Either he's really having a hard time processing and it's just too hard to even connect, or you're the thing that's closest to him that will remind him of his wife and he wants that connection. And so I would give him the opportunity to make that decision for himself.
Yeah, because that's kind of the way I feel when I'm doing different things. I'm like, is this making it worse?
Could be or could be better.
Because when we went for drinks with my nieces, my nieces and my daughter, we were having drinks and they were talking, and then my partner leans over and he goes, "They just said she's just like mom."
Mhm.
I was like,
Yeah.
and that's how I feel like we're twins,
Yeah.
sort of, because it's like all these things I find out, I'm like, that's just like me.
Yeah.
You already told me she cries all the time. Like, oh yeah, well, I never cry. Don't find me crying. So processing and when you had all of your stuff and you didn't find people or whatever, well, you did find yours. Well, you got your kids. Well, you were, but one of your kids was breaking off or something.
Yeah, my oldest. Yes.
So, like, did you finally like get to a point where you were like, you just kind of put it in its spot, and then you just go on, and it
Yeah.
doesn't, it doesn't, does it bother you anymore?
So I think the hardest thing was I got a letter from my birth mother saying that she never wanted to meet me and that I had ruined her life by
Yeah,
exposing the secret.
yeah.
Yeah, I'm exposing the secret to my older brother that she had had me. He's about 2.5, 3 years older than me. And so when I got that letter, I literally gave her 3 days to be upset. One day because it just sucked and it was hard. So I allowed one day to cry, one day out of just appreciation for having me and not doing anything else. And then the last day I was really sad. I gave her appreciation for having my brother and just because he was in my life. And then just kind of put it in that box and just gave all of that emotion back to her and said like
Wow.
she can't deal with this, like this is unresolved healing that she hasn't done, this is guilt and shame that she hasn't done, and I don't have to carry that, and so we'll kind of let it go. And with my son, who I relinquished when I was 16, he goes in and out of my life. And for me, it's just kind of like my job as his mom to stay solid and let him be a little hurricane around me. And when he wants contact, that's great, I'm here. And when he doesn't, I respect that and recognize that he's going through his process. And it's just kind of giving back those emotions to other people and allowing me to stay centered and not be fluctuate with them.
Wow. That's a good way to think about it. Because I told you, I don't know if I told you, started taking these classes for trauma recovery and I did the sound healing stuff that they are like they're tearing down their house. Sound healing and all that kind of stuff. Because I did it for myself.
Yeah.
I mean, and so that's been like really helpful to me too, I think, because it's given me what it did was I think it allowed me to like trust within myself that I'm actually okay.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And that was, if I hadn't had all of that in my, my being or whatever, I don't really know how to really reacted to any of it, but I've been able to just like go, okay, and I'm going to be fine and this, and then I try to go into what I did get out of it. And because it was one of those things too, because how people are, I had to kind of smile. How if someone dies or something, that people are like, oh, they're better off now. They're at least they're out of pain. You know what I mean? Those kind of responses. So I got well, at least you got to meet her. And it was like, I don't care that I got to meet her.
Your whole life.
That doesn't matter. That is They're like, oh, you're so lucky. At least you got to meet her. I'm like, oh, doesn't matter, But I mean, but yes, I am lucky that I did get to meet her. Because I could have died and never knew any of this. Of course, I wouldn't know that if I died, but but I mean, I this is something that I did want. Oh, and I believe in this too. It's just the way I believe. I don't. Other people believe these kind of things, but I do believe in journeys and that things that we're supposed to do and how our life is structured and what we come for a purpose and things that we're supposed to be doing. So I also looked at it like this. As a person who, decided to be born or whatever, I needed to learn these things, the reason why I got this mother, the reason why I got this father. And my sister, and maybe like, I think because we have free will, we have options. So like, I'm supposed to be getting to here, but like a long time ago, my mother could have told me, and then I would have gone this way. And my mother didn't tell me, and I go this way. And then we go on and on and on. And so maybe my sister was in it because eventually, in this scheme of things, this dream of life that I have, I was supposed to find these things out. And there was all these different paths, but eventually I was going to find out. So I did all these different things. And then the time came and I went down this path because I sent out for the ancestry thing, which I wasn't going to do because they wouldn't take it. I was going to not even send it. And I sent it. And then I found my sister. And then even when I was going to have the genealogist do stuff, they didn't want to pay because they thought it was a scam. But I just went ahead and paid for it myself. And I did that. And then I went on and then I met her. And then later on, when I couldn't figure out the father thing, I kept going until I found the adoption papers. And then I sent in and then I found it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I could have found him back when I was 6 if my mother would have told me. She could have told me at 36. She could have told me at 40. She could have told me on her deathbed, but she didn't.
Yeah.
So my sister was supposed to come in because I was supposed to meet her at some point in time. So I met her. She was supposed to come in, and maybe our thing was she was supposed to find out who her parents were, and she was supposed to find out who her father was, and her time came in, and she met me, and I gave her the information, and it was her time to go after that, or whatever. So sometimes I just try to look at it like that, like
Yeah.
it's a journey of things, and there's take this path, you take that path. It's crooked, it takes you longer to get around. You go that way, but eventually you still end up over here.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to kind of like look at it like that. It kind of makes it better for me when I say, well, I was supposed to meet her. I always wanted a sister. It was I almost wanted a sister as much as I wanted to know who my father was, really. But I never said it, because how are you going to keep saying, it's not something you keep going around like, oh, I wish I had a sister, when you can't have one.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I can't make a sister myself.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So if my mother doesn't have one, then I'm not going to have one.
It's interesting when you talk about the journey that way, because had you known all of your life, you wouldn't have looked for anything. Had you had your father's name and known, she would have just been out there forever.
Yeah,
and you would have never found her.
That's true. It's true.
There would have been nothing to look for. You had it.
No, it wouldn't have, because I was thinking that the DNA place made a mistake.
Yeah.
I'm like, oh, they made a mistake on this one, because I don't have any relatives that close in age to me. Because I would know who they are, and I was like, and I'm like, nah. And it's just funny now when I think back on it, I go, it was funny, like when I started looking at my life, I'm like, they knew all along, every single one of them knew what was going on, but they kept such a great secret. I have to give it to them. They did the best secret keep. They never let on, ever. And they never treated me weird, or you know what I mean? It's like they were I enjoyed and loved my mother's brothers and sister more than I loved being with my mother and my stepfather. Because I really didn't like being over there. They took me places, and I was like the apple of their eye. They just never, and I think back on it and go, wow, look how great that was. They never let on, they never they just died, and they weren't supposed to tell, I guess. So even as I was older, no one ever, except that one time they slipped when they were speaking at a funeral. Still think something must have been related to what was going on at that funeral. I haven't figured that out yet, but yeah, so yeah, so that's why I guess this is the end of the story now. I don't think there's anything else. If there is, I'll contact you, but
you're crossing your fingers over there.
I already did the videos for the end.
Oh wow!
Yeah. And then I was like, "Whoops! Wait a minute!" Because when I found my father, I'm like, "Wait a minute now! Wait a minute! I don't this never-ending story or whatever. You know what I mean?" So I'm gonna do like.
I love that though, because that place you were in, where you're just like, this guy doesn't feel right, and now you get to say, "This is why."
I know,
right?
I feel so good about that too, because I mean, I was like, I was like, he can't be, but I just was like, that cannot be. It just did not set with anything that my mother would ever do. As soon as I got this guy, I was like, oh yeah.
It all tracked.
Yeah. This is who she would, this is who she would be with. Somebody that's like, political leader in the community, and
good dresser.
Older, yeah, she was in college, and she, you know what I mean. It was like
that all sounds intoxicating.
Yeah, I was like, okay,
yep.
Now I got it, but not the 6th grade dropout drunk.
Yeah, I mean that might happen one night at a party, but it's not
exactly, but not a year until later on, right?
Yeah, no.
Because
No.
because it was really, it was after two of us, I was like, twice?
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So, yeah, well, anyway, so
So I love that it also kind of gave you your mom back.
yeah, it did. And it's, I mean, and I can just see it. I'm like, and see, I can relate in a way.
Yeah, me too.
You know what I mean? Like,
Absolutely.
oh, that.
Yeah.
We could have talked about that, girlfriend.
Yes.
You know,
Might have helped me
I would not
come
have
out
been
of not
holding that
making
against you.
mistakes. Yeah, right. Yes.
So yeah. And then like, with my father, and I'm just like, oh, okay. And then I didn't feel good, but I mean, I felt it was kind of like understandable
Mhm.
when my sister-in-law was saying, yeah, he was keeping secrets and thought, and I was just like, yeah, because they made a pact.
Yep.
Two of them made a pact, and they both
Yep.
kept him.
Yep.
He didn't budge from his. She didn't budge from hers because she was so adamant. I was just like, people say, why won't she tell? I don't know. She just won't do it.
Yeah. He meant that much to her too, that she wasn't going to blow up his
Yeah.
life.
And he
Yeah.
was just, I guess he was just like, oh. Because I mean, he died 1 year before she died. He died in 2006 at 97. She died in 2007 at 79. Oh, look, the numbers switch around.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, that's where I am.
It's interesting that there's this undercurrent of sadness about your sister, but you also feel so much lighter right now.
And also the other thing is, I just was thinking about this because I never really verbalized this out loud or anything, because it's not what I wanted. But it's kind of like I wanted to do all these different things, but I wasn't going to be able to do any of the things that I really wanted to do because she wasn't capable of doing any of those things. You know what I mean? So I had a sister, and I wanted to have my sister, and I wanted to do whatever I could do for my sister, but I knew that it wasn't going to be, it's like I can't call her up on the phone every day and talk about this and talk about that. We're not going to be able
Yeah.
to reminisce about any of these things,
Yeah.
you know. But I was going to go every year. And, I guess maybe it was one of those things too. It was just like, you're not going to have these things and you don't need to go every year.
Yeah.
And you did what you could. And you gave her all these things, and my nieces and my nephews, and my daughter and my son, they now who their cousins are, and get along really well. So that was nice. They didn't have to go. And now the secret's out. So now we don't have to have any more secrets.
Yes.
And we don't have to have any like mysteries, at least where me and my sister are concerned.
Yes. You
Well,
did unburden lots of like ancestral kind of burdens. You
right,
unburdened a lot of that.
right. So anyway, anything else you can think of? Before I go.
I think just in the processing, just it's important to process, but it's also important to really give respect to the parts of you that are protecting your brain. And you don't want to sit in those parts, but you want to make sure that you say, yes, I get that you're protecting this, but I'm okay. And when you're okay, like process through to the rest of it, because there's going to be sadness, there's going to be hurt, there's going to be all of those unfair parts that are just like, why? And it's okay to allow yourself to go there.
Right. Okay. I'm gonna finish my little YouTube series thing. And now when I tell people, they go, "No, you really got to write a book."
Yep.
Like I was saying something the other day. I didn't even tell them the whole story. They go, "You're doing a book, aren't you?"
Yep.
Do a book, right? I'm like, yeah. But I thought about too before, like when I was telling people what you were saying about, which made me feel a lot better about. I'm being all sad about everybody dying and not finding people. And she goes, well, that because you said that was because that's not your story.
Yep.
That's not your story. I was like, but I thought it was my story. So, and again, just the other day, when I told somebody and they said I should write a book. I said, they started right out again and were telling me about their father. And I didn't know that my father lived down the street, and somebody said, I found out because they said he looks just like you. And I had to chuckle. I was just like, every time I tell the story and start telling the story,
Relatable.
somebody says, oh, guess what happened to me? Or you don't know. It seems like it's everybody sometimes, because it seems like every single person I tell, I'm like, what kind of world are we living in? There's all these secrets that people don't know about their uh, conception and who's belongs to who. And this lady that I was talking to, she said she knows who her father is, and her mother still says it isn't. He knows he is. And she talks to him, and the mother still says no. And she said,
well, and you're not gonna be able to get away with that anymore. In this day and age of Facebook and Instagram, exactly. And us posting every night we go out and who we met, like 20 years from now, people are not going to be able to have all of those secrets. I'm going to look at your Facebook account.
Exactly. Yeah, so I guess I'm kind of like I got in on it, but I lived long enough to get in on it.
Yeah.
Because if this would have happened in 2007 when my mother passed away, I would have been right where I was. Because if there was no one to ask, there was no information. So okay. Thank you.
Yeah,
usual.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sit with your mom for a while too, and kind of just let her know you get it.
Yeah. And what I have to do too is what I'm having more trouble with for some reason. I'm going to have to sit with my stepfather.
Mm-hmm.
Because
why is that more trouble?
Because I don't really like him. Mm-hmm. Because I feel like he didn't treat me like a daughter, which is what made me so uncomfortable my whole life. And
so let's look at it in a different way.
Okay.
He didn't have what he needed to give you, but what did he give your mom?
What did he give her? 2 more boys.
Yeah, but he gave her the ability to keep you.
Yeah. But he could have tried harder to be nice.
Agreed.
You know what I mean? Because it wasn't my fault.
No.
You know what I mean? And so it's just like, it was like I don't know.
But if this secret is brewing around him and everyone knows, as a man, that had to have been hard for him too.
And I don't
sit with him a little bit.
I don't really know whether he knew about my sister, because he could have gotten her, because she gave her up for adoption.
Yeah, but he knew about you.
He knew about
that secret.
But he didn't know about her. She was also carrying. She could have also been carrying that. She had me, and then she had that other secret.
Yes.
That she was still, because that could have just blown up. Who knows what he would have said? I'm pretty sure she probably didn't tell him, because that isn't something you say.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to just. I'm okay with my mom. And I'm okay with my father. I'm just not okay with my stepfather as much. So I gotta I gotta figure out how to square that.
Yeah. And you don't have to ever like him. You just have to understand him. And just be okay with the fact that he had his own trauma coming into this, and he just wasn't able.
Yeah, sort of like my brother.
Yeah.
Sort of like his son. Yeah. But it does feel a lot better.
Good.
It just feels a lot better. It just feels but there's just where I thought the hole was filled. And now it just feels like it's opened back up again. Which I never thought could happen, because I always thought the hole could be filled. when I found out maybe the holes never get filled.
Yeah, that's part of the unfair.
Maybe they never get filled. They just get pieces in time when you have more peace. And then, because I guess it is what it is. You know? So, but anyway, okay. Well, I don't believe that this is the end of our existence anyway. I don't believe in heaven and hell, but I do believe that. So I feel like in some way I will, in the spirit world, come together again.
Well, I think that you allowed a lot of other people in the spirit world to come together again. I really believe in that unburdening these legacies of pain and trauma and secrets, and you undid a whole lot for a lot of people who were living in that. So
Good. That makes me feel even better. I was trying. I don't know what I didn't know what I was searching to get, but I just felt led and called to do
yeah,
certain things. So, like I think I had mentioned before, it's like I've been following my intuition a lot more.
yes,
Something pops up, well, I better check it out.
yeah,
And if because if it turns out that it's not a good idea or something, then you can just
yep,
go do something else. But it has been turning out a lot of things where like I just go this and like, look what, guess what I found? Guess what happened? So yeah. So anyway, well, I'm not going to keep you because I think our time is up.
yes.
Oh, I got to meet my great grandkids
Oh my gosh,
for the first time. When I
that's
went
awesome.
this time, when I went back after I left it, I went to Charleston and they came to Charleston. There's 4 of them.
Wow,
And the oldest one's going to be 7 because we've been gone 8 years. I got to meet all of them and I got to see my granddaughter.
that's awesome.
So
Well,
yeah,
keep me updated for sure.
I will. Thanks, Dr. Abby.
Absolutely.
Okay. Have a good day.
You too.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Just think about it right now. Everything's okay. No matter where you find yourself, no matter what kind of stuff is going on in your life, underneath it all, everything's actually all right. You're okay. You have more power than you might be giving yourself credit for. If you have something that's challenging,